Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CRO podcast with your host, myself, Courtney, and Will.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. We're co-founders of the CRO agency and manage the CRO network.
Yes, and today we're going to dive into CRO for SMEs and why it is actually fundamentally different. So we've never really gone into this, so this is sort of a first time, very exciting, and I think it's going to be really interesting because obviously it affects just, such a broad audience. We're going to really be looking into kind of the difficulty of volume and robust insights. We're going to be looking at, um, you know, the creativity that you do need for optimization in this kind of context. We're going to look at sort of keeping it simple. This is one of the key things that really, someone needs to be, or the SMEs need to be aware of. And again, kind of following on from that, the framework, sort of that really basic, really simple framework that is going to be absolutely integral to any kind of CRO, any kind of optimization in kind of that SME space. And then, of course, we're going to look at the wall of fame and shame. And this is really just going to kind of like go into what we're looking at, have some examples, know the book, work well, and very very exciting. So, without further ado,
Yeah,
let's get
cool.
started. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I am excited for this topic, and where it really came from is that we do a lot of audits for smaller businesses, and we basically just we do them generally for free. We're very happy just to help out, and 10-minute quick audit, do a quick loom, and share our thoughts. And we had a lot of similar thoughts. We see a lot of the pages, but they kind of have the same issues, and it'd be very difficult to move outside of them because a lot of like optimization work relies on scale. And this is this is the fundamental issue that you start to face here, which is
Mhm.
like the difficulty getting the volume required to have a robust insight and to actually run an A/B testing program, which is like what we always that's how to ultimately optimize your pages. Whereas if you're an SME, and like you could be an SME agency, you could be an SME business, you could be an SME lead gen business, but you often don't really have the volume or the resource to be doing robust scaling. To do robust testing even. So probably quite hard to scale
I
robust.
didn't even register it for a second, but then I was like, wait, what?
Just said it in
Yeah.
a convincing manner.
Just be
um,
confident, and everyone will believe. Yeah.
and yeah, this presents like its own unique set of challenges. So as a result, you're not able to like rely on the data as much as you could previously. Like simple things like simple frameworks like A/B testing don't really work. Even heat maps aren't as reliable depending on your volume. But there are ways and ways around this. So we've kind of built hopefully this is just a bit of a simple, this is how to get started and really apply the key principles despite having the, frankly, if you're running a test and it's going to take at least 30 days to hit significance, it's a significant handicap. So how do we overcome this?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the first one is getting creative with optimization. So, what most people optimize towards and where the volume issue comes from is leads. So, conversion from your page visitor to a lead completing the event. And you probably need about 500 leads going through a page or a user journey in order for that to be traditionally A/B testable and optimizable. For a lot of SMEs, that's just not realistic. Even smaller agencies running brand, you're spending £5,000 a month for a brand to generate them additional, generate them leads. Like it's probably not going to be enough to do CRO on top of that. So
Mhm.
how do you do it? Well, like what are the solutions? First off, you need to find a value of which it's going to hit that 400 to 500 amount, and that won't be leads. So that could be if you're using multi-step forms, which we highly recommend you do.
Always.
That could
Shout
be
out
click
multi-step
through.
forms.
Yeah, it's going to be something we mention here again and again. Um, but you can just use click-through rate to first question. How many people actually engaged with that first one? Most of the testing we're going to be talking through later, as well as focused on the high impact areas, and really that first page and keeping things simple. So if you use something like that, that could absolutely work. But really, wherever you're testing, basically test the next closest part of the user journey. So next action that they have to do, and it's actually quite a good uh, bellwether for user journeys. Like if there's not another like really clear step to the journey, or like it just goes from page visitor to lead submission, like you should probably be adding more steps. So you should definitely be adding more steps.
Yeah.
Um, even if you're testing contact details. You can do it from the start of the contact details to like drop off or viewing the final one. It doesn't have to be to lead submission. So wherever you're testing on the flow, you can just define your events more carefully and more closely. It can be challenging in some cases to do that, but there's also, I will go through easy ways of doing that again. So the fundamental principle here is you can't optimize around leads, which is traditionally what we do. Instead, find clear user journey paths that instead you can optimize to. So first click bounce rate is also or can be a good one, although yeah. But anywhere you're actually testing it, just find the next closest user journey event. We often do see landing pages which are just complete this this static form on this one, and unfortunately there's not. You can put some events into like people typing in information to a contact form. They're not wonderful events for one, and B, it's really at that point, it should be a pretty clear sign that actually we need a clearer first user action.
Yeah.
Even if it's just click through rate from clicking on a CTA to the next page, which is was static contact form if you have to, but probably better to run them to a multi-step form. Yeah, and those
Really about
I mean,
understanding what works, like what is actually going to get people engaging, like what are they doing, what are they kind of like, what resonates with kind of the user journey, because then you can always it's like foundational, isn't it? You can always sort of compound on that, and you can always build on that, and that's what these learnings are. It's about understanding, okay, we've started with X amount of engagement, we've changed this one thing, and now we're getting more engagement, and the theory behind that again is sort of just like, even if it's just I mean, I say even if, like, click through rate, if you're getting more people in theory clicking through, in theory you'll have sort of that's a trickle down effect, and you'll have more people like closing. So if you continue to go through each sort of part of it, then that's why that's going to give you some insight, even if you don't have those leads that you need for sort of more of like a more mature CRO optimization program.
Yeah, no, exactly. And again, we'll kind of go into this in the next section, the kind of test you can be running easily, but like a headline test, it's going to influence on Q1. Like that,
Oh,
it's going to be a pretty,
100%.
so you can absolutely use click-through rate, to Q1. That's, get way more data and you'll get robust results and you can find the best headline. And like that headline alone is going to be doing so much additional work for your
So
business.
much heavy lifting. It's crazy how, like, some of the tests that we've seen with headlines, and you just think, what? I mean,
Yeah.
wild. And it's so worth doing. It's so worth doing.
Yeah, which I mean, I guess that brings us on to the second part, which is keep it simple, stupid. So, sorry, but
That's
I
my
think
favorite.
CRO, particularly when you're operating at small levels, you really do have to keep it as simple as possible. And there's a core principle in, and we talked about this in actually in the context of big companies too. But effort will kill your CRO program. You need to keep it simple and easy as possible. So we'll get to the simple tests, but simple setup, like you can literally you can install Convert, Crazy Egg, VWO in literally maybe 5 minutes, if that. All you need to do is install it into the head code. It's just a one-line code snippet. When you create your account, it automatically generates when all these different platforms, they do the same thing. They generate literally a line of code. It's a tracking script, just like you would in any pixel-based or any other marketing tracking situation. You just whack into the head code of your page, which nearly any no-code tool will allow you to edit nowadays. You just literally copy and paste it in. And once that's set up, you put that also onto where your event is going to be. So any page where someone is going to be visiting, you add it to this, so just so I can track it throughout the whole journey. And that's it. And then you can define the goals within the software itself. So you can define certain clicks. You can define easy things. You can define page views. So if you drive from here to there, then you can just do a simple page view event. Which again, that goal to set up, it's a no code situation. You can anybody could set them up very quickly
So
and very
easy.
easily.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
there
I
are
mean, in
much
the
more.
day of AI now and everything as well, like if you don't understand how to do it, there is so much help out there. Like, it's something that you can
Absolutely.
definitely learn by doing. You don't have to be, fully in the know, when you start it. You can literally start from scratch. And in a matter of minutes, hours, you'll have everything set up and you'll be able to test from there. Like it's honestly 100% should be super doable and super simple.
Really, it's nowadays it is a much lower barrier. And then you
Yeah.
can, the first test everybody runs, or everyone should run. It's an AA
Yeah.
test. You're just testing the same thing against the same thing just to see like, is the tracking working? So you'll find out
Yeah.
pretty quickly. Like just I put
Yeah.
that live, just let it run for a few days. You'll find out pretty quickly if if it's working or not.
Yeah, nothing
Um,
more demoralizing than seeing that it doesn't, but I mean, that's a conversation for another day.
if that happens, I mean, maybe I ask AI, but you're welcome to reach
Yeah.
out and say,
Yeah.
because that can be a pain to
That's
debug.
a ticket situation. That is a ticket
Oof, yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
I mean, like,
Mhm.
user journey is right up there. As much as it needs to be simple for you on sort of the doer side, on the user journey side, just keep it simple, really simple pages, really simple user journeys. The more like convoluted, the more complex it becomes
Mm,
for the user. Obviously, it's more difficult. And it's also more difficult for you to keep track and to change and to monitor and to know what's happening. The fewer things that you have to go wrong, the better. And the fewer things that you have that is sort of in the way. It's like an obstacle course. Like, I used to always say, when I was at Hayflow, like when you're using multi-step form, and 100% everyone should be using multi-step forms. Oh my goodness gracious, it gives you so much more control and precision and understanding and insight. But I used to say like every question is kind of like a hurdle, and the higher that hurdle, the fewer people that are actually going to get over it. So you want to keep those hurdles as low to the ground as possible to get as many people over. Now, obviously, there need to be qualifying questions, and if someone doesn't qualify, that's absolutely fine. But in the sense of a user journey, keeping it as simple as possible so people can just walk over those hurdles is going to be so much more beneficial for you, for your revenue,
mm.
for your company, than having some horrific, like, those like 5K, like tough mudder things, like, like,
Yeah, yeah. But it makes me think of the Boots and Superdrug online doctor
yes.
journeys that we
Oh,
reviewed,
if you
which
didn't see
were
that,
you
everybody,
needed
you
a
have to
medical
go.
degree to finish.
Yeah, go back to our episode on the healthcare. What was it? Was it hair loss? And
Hair loss and weight
whew,
loss.
weight
Yeah,
loss, yeah. Whoa, horrendous. Yeah, multi-step forms though, 100%, and you can get them no code. We work together with Leapform, we work together with Hayflow, and these are like two really fantastic companies that, like, you can get drop-off rates, you can get A/B tests,
yeah.
you can do so many different things. It's really, really easy. You don't need to be a dev to even get it live or
Yeah.
to do anything. Um,
I mean, in fact, I think you raised a great point there. Like, all these tools have A/B testing built in. Like, if you have a funnel software, and like we bang on about funnels a lot, mainly because they're great in paid marketing, because they have a linear user journey. Like, you click here, and they just keep going down this single path, which is easy to track. You get robust results from. You can easily test on, and like, it's also like incredibly good for conversion rate. Like, they convert many
mhm.
times better than complicated user journeys, or static forms. Um, and so as a result, like, the
Don't
hurdle
make
to
people
starting
work
these
for
things,
it. Yeah, like, don't like,
oh,
that's it
just
at the end of the day,
yeah,
just don't make them work for it. No one wants to work for anything, you know what I mean?
and
Like,
don't feel like you need to write loads of content. Generally speaking, the best content is bullet pointed, and
less is
people don't
more.
really,
Less is
yeah,
more,
exactly.
always. More is
Less is
never
like,
more. Oh, well, more is
yeah,
more, but more is bad.
yeah, more is genuinely rarely better for a page. I mean, I've
Yeah.
reviewed a lot of really, pages that have clearly had a lot of time and effort put into them, and they've got sections upon sections of this really high quality content. And one of the first tests, like, again, we often run is remove the content, or like remove, like 80% of it.
Just
Like,
wipe it.
really, like, but really just like, yeah, we'll keep the
Yeah.
case study testimonial section. Absolutely. We'll keep some of the
Mm.
brand core
Or like a
USPs, like
how it
that can be,
works is really good, or like a what
yeah.
happens or something like that. Like giving context and letting people have closure and understanding what's going on. But all of the waffle, all the faff, all
Mm,
of this like crazy information, no one's reading it, no one really cares. And it's honestly just it's too much. And
yeah.
people get just overwhelmed with it. It's cognitive overload and they're just gonna exit because it's like, you know what, I can't do this right now. I don't have the capacity for it. I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah. And again, yeah, the test usually wins removing the content. And it's also one where, it means making a page is actually much easier than you think. It's a headline, multi-step form, question set, which like we've done a lot of videos on how to create a good question set, so I won't go into it right now. But it's headlines, CTA, a couple lines of copy about why your brand is good, and like that. That's you can get going. That can be a
Yeah.
really high performing page user journey very quickly, and
Hmm.
on an organic sense as well. Like, you can just embed these into your website. They use iframes. Again, it's just a line of code you copy into your body, into
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else on your page in the code. They're very straightforward. Well, again, I appreciate
It's very
not
easy.
everyone
And
is
there are
technical, but
step-by-step guides, like,
yeah,
everyone's had to do it, and it's really not that difficult, I think. And
yeah.
yeah, and then you can ask a
I
few
mean,
little qualifying questions, just like be super non-confrontational, just kind of like getting people in, especially organic, where they're sort of like, oh, I don't really
yeah,
know, like I'm kind of just want information, like no obligation. Hey, we'll ask you a couple of questions, give us your details, we reach out, like we can have a chat. We don't have to, it's not saying I love you on the first date. It's just kind of getting
yeah,
to know you, and then we can see. And
exactly.
that's it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Like having that consultative angle, and just being that, like, no, we are here rather than getting someone to like become an expert in the field to make a buying decision. Like, no, just talk to us. We'll walk you through the process, and we'll help. Keep it nice and simple and easy for the user. And again, when we think about the tests as well, which test a headline. What headlines are going to work? Again, you can get a clear indication of that success pretty quickly because it will affect bounce rate or click through rate. You don't really need to drive it all the way to lead to submission. CTA as well, like that's going to be pretty clear. It's going to be, again, it's going to be click through rate to first question. It's going to be either better or
Yeah.
worse, and that's going to be driven
Yeah.
by that. And again, what you're noticing is and I will go on to a couple more tests in a second, but they're all going to be above the fold on that first.
Mm-hmm.
It's nearly always easiest just to optimize above the fold on that content
Highest
someone sees when they
impact.
first lead to,
Yeah.
when they first
Well, I
land on
mean,
that
that's a really
page.
good segue into simple tests. That is sort of like the next point in all of this. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
I love that. Simple tests. Keep it simple. Like Will just said, like a CTA. Change to CTA. CTA is going to have like, especially above the fold. A CTA test is going to have. It's a high impact test. It really does. Like we've literally just had a few tests now with some clients, and unbelievable.
What?
The like, I
Yeah,
mean,
you
it's
can get
it's
a
believable because we know it,
40%
but yeah, 40%,
from just
40% increase in, and that's on a lead level as well,
mm,
which is just fantastic. That's wonderful. That's really moving the needle, and that was just one simple CTA change, and that's something that is a very simple test. It's very easily
mm,
done, and you can just see. And headline again, that's going to be a big one as well, and all of these kind of like really easy to implement tests that have a really high impact. And when you're looking at above the fold, yeah, everything there that you can just kind of tweak and move, or like a persistent timer, for example. All these things are
mm,
going to be really, really, really interesting. And you don't want to be start getting convoluted with your tests about sort of weird things below the fold, or like I
just
don't know, changing the body text of a like a explainer
paragraph.
thing to
Yeah,
SEO, like any kind of like optimization that you think might work better, or more like salesy language or less salesy language. Like no one, it's not gonna be what moves the needle, especially not here in this context
yeah.
that we're looking at.
No, exactly. Another really simple test is most landing page, particularly in the B2B world, have like a headline, sub paragraph, and then hero image, and then CTA. Like it's pretty very standard landing page
Hmm.
setup. Would make sense. Just bullet point out though that little paragraph. You will almost certainly see an uptick. Another simple test is adding social proof right next to the CTA, just like 5,000 users think we're great, or maybe obviously probably smaller. So your little reviews, your rating, or you know
Yeah,
next day delivery, or whatever
the
the value, but simple
stars.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can just add around that
logos
CTA.
especially. Yeah,
Yeah,
having like
as
logos.
seen
If
on.
Yeah, as seen on
Yeah.
big, we've seen huge uplifts to that. Yeah, logos of like if it's home improvement, for example, also like we're certified installers, or we're trusted traders, or all those little bits and pieces that you can do. If it's something maybe financial, if it's something medical, you can also have kind of like the GDPR, any kind of thing that
Mm,
shows that you're sort of that you are trusted, and anything like that. That's always going to have an effect, especially if you're comparing to having and not having as well.
yeah. And also, I like, with what's we're talking about headline, you can do a couple headline tests, do CTA tests, adding things around the CTA. You can do a bullet point test. You can add some different social. There's like 6, 7 things already. That probably for where you are at this point, like that's probably a 3, 4 months testing roadmap. From that point, you probably start to get an idea of what's starting to win and what's not working. It's going to be great for your performance marketing, or I
Hmm.
assumed you're doing some level of paid marketing, because then you'll start to see what actually resonates with your audience. what
Mm-hmm.
is like empirically causing an uplift, and then you can just feed that back into your performance marketing, and gradually you get to the point where hopefully after 6 months of this optimization, you're scaling and you've got a bit more data to play with, and you can
Mm-hmm.
learn faster, and yeah, you can get to the point where you have these incredibly optimized forms from a really really simple starting point. um,
Yeah.
Obviously, we it's very rarely this is like a linear journey. Most tests do fail, but the main point is to be doing it. If you're not doing
Learning
it,
is
then
failure is still learning. Like failure is still positive because you are learning. You're learning what not to do, and you can move in a direction to maybe figure out what you should be doing. And it can be quite disheartening to have 3, 4, whatever tests back to back fail, and you think, "Oh my goodness gracious!" But it's really, it's what it's doing is honing your skills to kind of look at it, analyze it, and then actually figure out, okay, what is going on, and then get behind that. And once you sort of get that, as you knack that, and you're like, "Oh, okay, and now this is where we should be going."
mm,
It's going to be super beneficial. But yeah, failing is also beneficial.
I mean,
All of it is
it
beneficial.
yeah, it's so much better than just relying on assumptions that turns out they were false.
Yeah,
Like
because you know
that's
what?
what you're finding out.
When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
Love it. But yeah, this is why again, effort will kill your CRO program. So just keep it simple. Just set a
Keep it
monthly
simple, keep
reminder
it
to
lighthearted. It'll be
yeah.
cute, and it'll organically grow. And I mean, Will and I
Mm,
have made many a test pipeline for many a client, and it always changes because things change, and you learn new things, and then you're like, "Oh, this is really good. What about iterations on this one?" Or "This is really bad, really, really bad, unbelievably bad."
let's do the inverse.
Let's pivot.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
something about a
yeah.
test that loses like incredibly
That
hard.
just
It's
bombs.
deeply
Mm.
humbling. Deeply
It is
humbling. Like it
deep,
reminds you
especially because
that
you're the hypothesis, and you're just like, well, this hypothesis is like it's airtight, like it is so good, and then people are weird on the internet, and it completely changes. You're like, wow,
mm,
okay, good. I should never have thought I was that great. I need to be
well,
humbled.
the the best part of all of this is that they're usually things that have won elsewhere. I think like, oh,
Yeah.
this is definitely, it's a gimme. And
this,
it's like,
this is
nah.
too this is too easy. I mean, this wins everywhere. So obviously to win here, and then it doesn't. And that's the thing. You can
Yeah.
never actually assume that anything is going to win or lose. You can have maybe like
That's why you
a
test the
some like
hypothesis.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. You can think, but actually you don't know until you know, and you only know when you have the data. And that's really why you need to do all of this. But you need to keep it simple because it's just not worth putting
Yeah.
too much effort into
The-
everything. It's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be
mm,
scalable, and it's not going to give you the information that you need.
yeah. Um, I mean, the final thing I'm going to mention here, which is another like almost hack regarding how to do this stuff. Lovable nowadays can literally make a website and do all these things for you in such minimal effort. You can just like make a few and
Mm,
A/B test across. It's like if you really want to like test this, compare this compared to the journey, and like you've got whatever you really
yeah.
believe it's better. Yeah, just do it through Lovable. Crack the
Mm.
I
Ugh,
assume
just so not a lovable fan, but
I know
it's
it
true.
makes very very
They do
generic
do it
things,
really
but
well. Yeah,
yeah,
like
and
it is. But keeping things simple, and we're just doing things because done is always better than
yeah,
perfect.
exactly,
And lovable is
exactly.
the poster child for that. Done is always better
Yeah,
than perfect. You can always
yeah,
try, and then if you actually learn, hey, this is so much better and we're getting so many more leads, well then you can actually iterate that, and then actually adopt
yeah,
it in
and
a
maybe
different way. Yeah,
yeah,
like
and
better
then
and
build
more
it.
sustainably. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like but honestly, for easy, quick tech, particularly like these more transformative things, yeah, like it's fine. Again, you won't hear us say one loads and loads of things because they're not super optimized and they do have structural issues. But for testing a principle, not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think
That's actually what
that's the.
the little
Hmm.
sneak peek into lead generation companies. That's actually what they do a lot of the time. Is they will have a
Hmm.
hypothesis, and they will test on a different tech that's much easier to use. And then once they see that it's winning, they will actually then implement that with their own tech and have it actually built out. So this is how they do it. And that's why they can be super quick. They can get their learnings, and then they can adapt the things into their infrastructure when it actually wins. So there you go.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun.
It is really
Oh,
interesting. I'm
I
fully here
know.
for it. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, yes, I could talk about this forever. Um, but yeah, you
Oh,
know.
well, I think I will let you talk about the next section then, which is going to be more on like, you built a page or you're thinking about building a page. Like, how would you audit this? Because
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
particularly, we do see this again and again when we audit these pages. We just use a very simple framework that
Mhm.
anybody can use. That they do routinely kind of miss certain elements. So here's our standard framework we use again and again. And yeah, Courtney, you can
Yeah,
talk through
I
these
think
ones.
Yeah, and I think part of this what's really important to understand is okay, so when someone actually comes to your page, what they're doing is they're doing like an internal check that happens sort of like subconsciously, very, very quickly. They don't even know that they're doing it. And what is happening is they're scanning your page, and while they're scanning, they're checking for relevance, they're checking for trust, effort, and sort of like those are, I mean, trust, effort, time. I suppose that's sort of in it as well. But these are
Hmm.
the things that they're kind of internally checking and scanning for. And if your page doesn't tick those boxes, that's going to be your first bounce. If it ticks a couple of those boxes, but not all, they might hang around to kind of figure it out. And if it's then not still all of those boxes aren't ticked, they're going to leave. So basically, what it is about understanding okay relevance. For example, I'm clicking on an ad that says get your free quote for something.
Plumbers.
Um, for what?
Plumbers. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, yeah, get your free plumbing quote. Fantastic. Need that. Actually, I do because I do have a broken pipe in my bathroom, but whatever. My landlord has still not done anything about that. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I digress. Get your free plumbing quote. Okay, I click on it, and then I come to a page, and the word plumbing isn't mentioned. Free quote isn't mentioned. It's more of like, hey, you can save up to 20% with the Mario Brothers. Okay, I'm going to leave because I feel like I've been misled. I've immediately lost trust because there's no relevance because I clicked on something and I was taken somewhere else and I don't want to be there. So, first and foremost, you really need to understand okay, what am I clicking on? Where am I going? How is this all working together and making sure that it's relevant? And it's also got to be language that's relevant to the user in the sense of what is their pain point? What are they looking for? We need to have. I mean, Will always has this with the headlines. It has to be relevant, it has to be short, it has to have the product category. Like you need to just have these elements in there so you can
Hmm.
can really make sure that you're speaking to the relevance of your audience.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and then trust. Trust is huge, and we've just literally just spoken about that. But I want to trust you, and the only way I know how to trust you is reviews, ratings, is certifications, is like badges, is logos, is all of those things, as seen on who we work with, Trust Pilot, all of the Google reviews, all of the things. I need to have that somewhere that I can see that that's actually real. Having those logos as well is going to be amazing, like having
Yeah,
GDPR logos or having, like, not GDPR, but having, like, I don't know, certificates of whatever else, ISO, like, so
yeah.
important because
And
if you don't
friendly
have that.
faces as part of that
Yes!
one. We trust friendly faces. If you have a case
Avatars,
study
always.
of like someone or, your avatars and I think easy ways just to instill trust, which in a way in which often other people don't. The brands can be quite soulless. Whereas like a
Yeah.
warm and inviting, happy face of like a customer that's done, really, really good, or like
Yay, I
this is
love
this is this
this.
is Steve.
Yeah.
Steve's been, installing solar
Make
panels for
it
20
personable
years.
as well.
He's gonna come
Yeah.
around and he's gonna help you out. Like he's not gonna like off the shelf, he's gonna work it out for you. Like
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's how you instill trust more
Mhm.
effectively. But sorry, yeah.
No, 100%. I mean, we're in this together. um I mean that's going to be important as well because again it's that internal check. Okay, it's relevant. Okay, I can trust this. Okay, what's the next thing I go to? Effort.
Mm,
um Effort, how much effort and value, though, I think that, I mean, they're two separate things, but they're also I mean, all of this is intertwined, but how much effort am I putting in and also what am I getting out of that? So, like value, teasing value, offering value, get your free quote, or, spit like there's got to be something that I want, and that's what's going to motivate me to continue. But also it needs to be clear, well, how much effort am I putting in? If you're just asking questions and there's no indicator of time, there's no indicator of how many questions it is. People are going to drop out because they're just not ready to commit to something that they don't know what they're
mm,
committing to. If you say, hey, step 1 of 4, or you have like a progress bar that says like 33% complete, you have a persistent timer that says only 60 seconds left. Then of course people are much more likely to actually engage with it because they think, okay, that's easy, I can do that. like super quickly. I'll get in there, I'll do that. Especially because that value has been offered, that value has been teased, and I know, hey, I actually want to have that plumbing quote because I do have a broken pipe in my bathroom currently. It'd be really nice if someone came and fixed it. So yeah, I will invest that minute of my life to speak to someone, to get a quote, to get something, you know? Um, Super important. Super, super important. And these are the things. And I think understanding how people are interacting with your page as to what is going to be the reason that people bounce. You know, I think that a relevance
Mm.
bounce is going to be very, very quick. Those are the people that are coming to your page and exiting immediately because they do not at all see the connection of why they came here. Trust is where they maybe have like, I mean, it it is, you know, Hotjar or something like that, where you can see how people have engaged. If they're sort of like scrolling or something like that, potentially trust is an issue because they're like, okay, wait, what is this and who are they?
Mm.
And effort, if they're clicking through maybe the first few questions and they realize they don't know how long it goes and they drop out, that's when you know effort is just too much. It's too big. Um, but again, above the fold is everything. This is the main spot that you should be really focusing on. This is where you should really have it the most optimized that you possibly can. This is always where you want to work with. So really making sure that all of this is there. You want to have relevance, you want to have trust, you want to have effort signaled, you want to have value teasing. Like these are the things that you absolutely like you have to have.
And I mean, one helpful way to think about, and particularly on mobile, by the way, like if that's not super
Mm,
clear, like most traffic, particularly paid traffic from like Meta, is mobile, optimized for mobile. I don't, I appreciate everyone designs on desktop, but just optimize on mobile. Like we see that issue the most. And
yeah.
it can be as simple as like the CTA is just below the fold because the image is too big on mobile. Like just make the image smaller. Done.
Yeah.
Probably conversion rate plus
Yeah.
15.
I mean,
But you,
having different journeys based on desktop and mobile, like potentially you do actually
no,
have one of this huge hero
it's
image
just
on
different design.
desktop because it looks
Yeah.
great and it works well. On mobile, maybe you don't even have that and you swap it out for
Yeah.
something else that it
Mm,
because you just need to have like that really nice streamlined, like, you know, you want to have everything in
yeah.
thumb zone. Think about when you're on your phone, where does your thumb fit? Where do people's thumbs fit? And where can they click? If you have a CTA that's right on the top left,
You're like,
wait, hang on, wait, how do I hold my phone? Let me think about it. Yeah, if you have a CTA on that top, I'm a right-hander, by the way, so you have your CTA on the top left-hand corner of my screen, I can't reach it with my thumb, so I'm not gonna do it. Like, that is the level of commitment that you're going to get from your users, so you wanna make it as easy as possible. And
mm,
I even have the smallest phone. I have the what's it called?
iPhone SE.
Yeah, no, 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 one of it's a mini of sorts, 12 mini maybe? Or is it
I don't.
SE? Oh, I don't
I'm,
know. It's tiny though, it's tiny. And I'm
it's
still
great.
not reaching to the top left corner with my thumb.
It's great for QAing tests on.
It is
if
really good.
if it's visible on Cordy's phones, we're pretty sure the test is going to
Yeah.
be visible on most devices.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
and you,
This baby gonna stay with me as long as it can. I mean, it is slowly dying, but oh well.
I I do have an iPhone SE tucked away occasionally, which I'm occasionally with, an old iPhone 4, which can also be handy. Um,
Oh, that was my
I
first
know,
iPhone and iPhone
I
4.
know,
Oh,
same.
nostalgia.
The final
Yeah.
thing, regard it, if you can't fit it all above the fold, like it is essentially scroll depth just like decreases with time. You've got 100%
Yeah.
of people viewing the thing that first loads. The next part, like you're losing like 20-30% of people already at least.
Ideally,
And that's
everyone is
after
already on
bounce rate.
board. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And then
Ideally,
it just,
everyone is on board and understands
mm,
above the fold. Anyone who is scrolling is someone who hasn't had all of their boxes ticked and they're just sort of checking.
mm,
And then everyone else is just, no one's doing it
yeah.
really, to be fair.
So just fewer people go down. So like the content towards the top is more important. So just, optimize that.
Focus.
Focus on that.
Yeah.
Don't add like bits after bits after bits on the bottom.
More is
It's not a good
more,
use of
but
time.
it's not better.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, yeah, quick summary there. The framework, is your page relevant? Does it signal trust? Does it signal effort? How is that value
Value.
actually going to work out for someone? How
Mm-hmm.
do they achieve that value? And if your page does
Mm-hmm.
all those four things and has, everything's kind of visible above the fold, nice linear user journey, you're not asking them to go everywhere and like make decisions, then great. Like honestly, at that point, like, that would pass an audit from us and be like, this is, a good baseline to start from.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And then when we're looking
yeah,
at multi-step forms, in for a penny, in for a pound, of course. We need
yeah,
to keep that momentum. Clicking things, if people click into something and they engage with something, they have a feeling of momentum. It feels like they're going somewhere. And with that feeling of momentum, they feel also like they have invested something, and you have sort of that sunken cost fallacy almost. So you kind of you utilize that feeling, and you try and make sure that you're teasing value throughout, like almost there, and you're going to get this, and it's only 3 steps until you get a free quick, and it's only 3 steps until you lower your energy bills, for example. Like all of these things, just sort of like drip fed throughout,
Help
kind of
them
like
through.
Hansel and
Yeah.
Gretel. Yeah, like little
Yeah.
stones or whatever they dropped.
Breadcrumbs.
All of yeah, breadcrumbs, breadcrumbs. Stones though. Anyway,
They would
yeah,
have been better off if they did stones,
yeah,
Like,
they would have been.
it's a
But
better
I mean,
idea.
I've optimized.
So
Um,
optimized.
but that's the thing, like you want to be able to do that, and clarity again is about clarity is something I probably should have spoken about a bit earlier. But when we're talking about headlines, when we're talking about having everything bullet pointed, it is also about clarity. It's about making
Mm.
things easy to understand. I know exactly what I have to do. I know I have to click here because it's very much signified. That CTA says, see if I qualify. Good. I would like to do that. I'm going to click on that. The button is visually not sort of difficult to find. It's a very clear big button on mobile. It's a button that I can click with my thumb, and it's not some tiny little thing that you have to like zoom into. Like these are the
Mm.
things that are going to get people to continue to go through, and they're going to be motivated to go through, and it's going to make everything so much easier. It's keeping those hurdles low to the ground.
It's that related concept, which, we don't talk about too much because it just sounds quite complicated, but cognitive overload. Like we've mentioned, a lot of things your page needs to hit above the fold. Now, you can do that by just shoving everything on a page. Ooh. You're going to have cognitive overload, and that's like that clarity is vital, like keeping it simple, keeping it really, really clear. So actually, I think this wall of fame and shame is actually quite good. We've got some quite good examples of like,
Oh,
how
yeah,
you
it's
can
so
convey this
perfect.
just so clearly and simply and easily, without going
Mhm.
overboard. Because editing,
Yeah.
that's the thing. If you can't sell everything to someone, like you just sell one thing, just say it really simply and clearly. Cognitive overload like runs through all of this, and it's really behind that clarity is vital principle. So just be aware of when you design a page, keep it light, keep it simple, make sure people
It's
aren't
so
assaulted.
I think it's so counterintuitive in a way, isn't it? Because I think, like, especially a lot of clients that we've, spoken to, and just a lot of like companies that we've spoken to where we've done audits, the knee-jerk reaction seems to always be, if something's not working, we'll add more.
Yeah, like
That's
we're not
always kind of
convincing
the way.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
right.
like you're not here to convince people. You're here to make it easy and clear, and just add a signpost.
Yeah,
Know,
exactly. And
simple.
that's what it is. It's just like when people get confused and they don't know where they're going, that's sort of where, that huge friction sort of starts. If you make it
Exact. Yeah.
really, really easy, hey, this is why you're here, this is what you're going to get, and this is how you get it, that's by far, way beyond what a lot of companies are doing, because they're just making it far too convoluted, because they just think more is more. And there's that anxiety that people are not going to understand, they're not going to know, and they're not going to do anything. And you need to sort of move away from that and just boil it down as much as you can, which I think is then now the segue into
Yeah, it's perfect.
Hall of Fame and
Okay,
Shame.
we're going to start off with Novabook. So again, for context, this was paid user journey in this case, and it was from PPC. So again, what we've talked about again is relevance, trust, effort, and how does it really work? About keeping your pages and offering just simple and just allowing people to engage with it in a nice way. So how does Novabook get on with it? Thoughts, things, emotions. We're quite pleased with the pages we found for this week. If you can't tell, great. The other one's
Out of
another
us.
great example.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Honestly, beautiful. I think. Like, I
lovely,
think,
simple headline. The accountant,
yeah.
good framing. So
Who
headline is
it's for?
short,
So you're
says the
speaking to your
product
audience.
category, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Product
and it
category.
has a clear angle. The accountant for startups. Oh, God. I assumed I probably looked for SME accountant software, and
Yeah.
all it's probably, I assume, for startups, but it changes for like depending on the keyword. I hope it changes depending on the
Yeah,
keyword.
I would
I'm
hope
pretty
so
sure it
too.
does because it has a startups thing. You can't see it in the URL, but up here it says startups page. So They've just made a
Love
simple
that.
URL. You can just use a dynamic headline. That would be a better
Mm-hmm.
solution, but fair enough. So it's nice and relevant. How's it for
Mm.
trust?
We
Trusted
got
by
it.
venture-backed partner. It's got some really cool
Yeah.
brands down there. Love to see that. I think
Beautiful.
it's,
Yeah.
nice, clear, easy. Then we're like, right, um,
Email is of
how,
course like a little bit it's a
mm,
it's a it's a it's a bit of a commitment, I think. But like it's in this instance it is just very like a necessary step. Like and it's only email. Do you know what I mean? Like the amount of times I just chuck my email in somewhere to get something and then it's just like whatever, I can just delete the emails that they give to me. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And you
And
got to
it
sign
is
up
a
anyway.
nice, clear user. It's like, much as I think, again, there are, generally speaking, we would recommend multi-step form and don't ask email first, like warm people up
Yeah.
into it. But instead, and we'll complete this and see where it goes. We want to look at mobile first as well. But, it's got a nice, clear user journey. It's clear, like, this is how it's going to happen. This is the value that's been offered. We're going to do it by getting a call. I've
And just
answered all
like
my
when you
questions.
look at it, I think this is also a little bit the color
Yeah.
part of it. It's just
Don't,
like it's so chill. Like the dark, and it just works really well. You just sort of your eye is completely drawn and your eye goes through the hierarchy. The accountant for startups is what you're reading the whole thing in the way that it's supposed to be read. Um,
mm,
they are completely directing the way that you're engaging with it in
mm.
such a fantastic way. You're not darting all over the place. You're not being hit with like so much information. Like it's so pretty.
It's the accountant for startups. Um, what I'm also going to do, so I'm going to scroll down. We'll look at desktop a bit further. So if I just scroll down, I love that it's just been actually designed for this desktop size. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this is an organic page technically. Like I mean, I assume it's not indexed and that they're treating it as a paid one, so it's separate from their normal. I doubt you could
Yeah.
find this page normally. However, I think they've done it. It's relatively discreet. I do think there are, generally speaking, you don't have it completely separate would be better. I think that would be better. But if we
Yeah.
scroll down and start to see, so they're talking to the T,
Oh, look
friendly
at
faces.
that.
It's great. We didn't even scroll down
Yes.
before, so I'm very pleased with this. Immediate
Yeah.
responses look how little copy is on this page.
Yeah.
It gets the point across.
It's like the things that you need. You just want to know, hey, is there someone there? There's someone there, and you've got people. Like, look, it's just so well done, isn't it?
It's just very
Oh,
simple. And then, like, if you want to learn more, like, they start to give the
see
user jet.
again. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like again, when we're thinking about who is actually scrolling down this far, these are the people that just need that extra bit of information. They need more context and they need
Yeah,
that. So we're going from having kind of that above the fold where we do have the trust elements down into having the trust, but also like the personable. And then we're kind of moving
yeah,
down into a little bit more of like, okay, what actually is this to give me a little bit more context? So this is going to hopefully tick all those boxes for the people that just need that extra bit
yeah.
of reassurance. And then they're going to go into the funnel. And that's sort of the way that you should think about probably like below the fold. It's not about having more, 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 more. It's about having the right information in the right order.
Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, I think they've done a great job. They also like I
Yeah.
kind of like having it again at the bottom because maybe someone's decided
hmm
at this point we're
They've
ready.
gone through and now they're ready to do it and they don't have to scroll
Yeah.
up. They can just keep it, and that's making it easy for them,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
assume this is well, yeah. Honestly, so good page here. Oh, we're looking on mobile. But then we should
Yes.
probably jump to the next one. But
Yes.
mobile, how do we? I'm just going to refresh it just in case any. Okay. Yeah. Very very simple.
Same,
Very
but different, but love it.
yeah yeah. No, yeah. Nice. In fact, that's one thing you can see from that desktop design. It lends itself to mobile very easily as
Yeah.
well.
Which makes
Um,
your life
n-
easier, which means a simpler setup,
yeah,
which means you don't have
yeah,
to do too much faffing because you've got something super convoluted and then something that has to be kind of completely rearranged.
absolutely. I would test having these a little bit higher up. I can see why they'd be down here because again, you're like at this point they've gone through the uncertainty period and now you're
Yeah.
giving them certainty again. So I could see the logic here. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. It's interesting. It's well done. Um, right. Shall we see our next example
Yes,
of
please.
page user journeys? It's a lot, isn't it? It
It's too much. It's like, where am
can't
I
even read all of
looking?
it.
No, it's like bullet points, great, too many. Bolding, no bolding, too much. The fact that the hero image is this woman, like you sort of are drawn to that face, to be fair, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my eye is first drawn. And then you go over to kind of the text. And then you have, I think the white on green is a little bit jarring. You have 3 different CTAs. Obviously, one is like more highlighted than the other, but it's still 3 different journeys that I can go down. I don't know which one I need to go down. It's so, and like that trust
And
is
their
below the
trust
fold.
signals are below the fold. Oh, you're killing me here. You're killing me. I really didn't. We didn't actually scroll
And the
down
thing
on
is,
any
they
of
could
these pages
actually,
before. Mm-hmm.
yeah, they
Go
could
on, sorry.
actually just like, they could actually just bring that up and then have it above the fold, but it's sort of all weirdly,
They chose to have it below the
yeah.
fold. Bad choice. Then this is a lot of gap. Our account is through service.
Yeah.
Okay, this is again too
Okay.
much. Like this
It's
is
way too
like,
much.
yeah,
No one's
like
reading
keep it
that.
simple.
Yeah.
Can I have a testimonial potentially or a
TLDR.
review or okay, now
Yeah.
we've got what our clients say. Not sure about this formatting, but maybe just have that a tiny bit higher right here. That's a lot of blank space. That's fine. I mean, like we just don't really
I mean, I
request a
can't even
callback.
read that green on green. Like that's just horrific to look at.
Oh God.
Oof. No one's doing that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
No one's doing that. I would love to know the
and then
metrics on this.
yeah, God, then Hertfordshire, we might swing by your offices because, like, guys, we can do better. We can do better. I don't know who runs your paid marketing, but
Yeah. Come on, work well. Yeah.
yeah. And on mobile, it's a lot. Like the triple CTA is what's killing me here. Like it means that
Yeah,
you
the
don't
triple
really
CTA
know
is
what's
terrible.
yeah. Like again,
I feel like the
simple
bullets
linear
work better
journey.
on mobile. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more
I mean,
adjustable. Although the white on the
yeah. I mean, it's still not great, but it does work mildly better in that format. That's terrible. No one's swiping.
Well,
Do you
I
like
mean,
that?
I kind of prefer it because it doesn't overwhelm you with like all these things. So instead,
Well,
like
that's
I kind of
true.
like that they're just hidden.
I just don't feel like anyone's doing it. Like all that
No one's
information's
doing it.
lost. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
like
mean,
it's
I think
nicer from
it's
yeah,
a
so,
good
like
thing
it's
it's lost.
nicer. Yeah.
Like I compare it to like our service of we do everything. I was like, which immediately makes me think like, oh no, am I gonna have to pay for everything? Like that's
Mhm.
a full screen of like
It's like
stuff I
going
should
to a
probably read
restaurant
now.
that has like a
Yeah,
novel as their menu, and you're like, they do everything, so they also do nothing in that sense.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, less is more. And it can
Less
also
is
just be like,
more.
why are you good? Not like you do all these things. So unlimited hub,
Yeah.
like just I'm glad that's the first one, but I mean, it's
I mean,
just like
all of
you've
these
mixed all
things. Is this wait? Where did this come from? Did this come from? Is
this
this a
PPC
paid
as well.
journey?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a paid
So
journey. Like this
a
is.
paid journey is gonna you want to have a paid journey that's going to be specific. Like you want to be talking to a specific like customer
Mhm.
segment. You want to be having like a specific customer journey. That CTA is insane because you should only have one customer
It,
journey, and all of the things that you offer. In theory, I would think it would probably actually be a little bit more defined if it's like a specific customer journey. And even if not,
hmm.
just spraying people with that, like I just don't like you. It's not like an SEO type of situation that you're going to be found or anything. Like this won't be
Hmm.
indexed. Like this is a very specific journey. So just give them why we're good, what people say, why we can be trusted, and just take them down the journey. Like customer is always king, but you need to define where they're going and what they want
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this
You just need
sense.
to just make it a linear, more clear user journey for them.
King or
And get like
queen.
yeah. Oh,
um, yeah,
yeah. Again, like they've got awards, which again they've just hidden at the bottom.
yeah.
Like I'm not quite
And
sure.
yeah, I would
Mhm.
change that hero image immediately. Like I don't think they need that hero
I
image at
I mean,
all.
I like again friendly faces. They
Friendly
really do
faces is
sell,
good.
but I think Novabic did it so much better. Where like they kept it simple for this, and then they were like, "Here are the friendly
And these are
faces."
like real
You know,
pictures. Like I feel like these are
yeah,
literally like it just feels so approachable,
that's a
doesn't it?
webcam
They actually
photo.
look like really yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It feels really approachable, really nice people.
this
Like
is
that just feels so
outlining
much more of an
how it
insight.
works. You just
Yeah.
contact your accountant. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. So
Great.
simple, so easy.
Yeah. God, we do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about our specific business needs in this this particular call, but we might be in the market for an accountant. I don't know. It could be anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hopefully there you can kind of see how one business has done it well, like simplicity. The other business has thrown everything at the wall. And well, like I have no idea which one is the better solution. I mean, well, the second one seemingly won a lot of awards, which may well make them better. But
it depends on how
not.
they get their business. How are they getting their business and what's actually important? Because if they're not as reliant on their kind of like web journey, if they're not reliant on kind of that thing, then that's going to work and that's going to be fine. Whereas, or even a demographic, potentially there is a demographic that actually responds better. Like there's so many different things that one could think about that. But when we're kind of looking at generally like an online journey, you would want to be doing it more, like what's it called?
Novabook,
because that's
they've done a
so
good
much
job
simpler,
there.
so much easier. They did it really well, and I would imagine they would have a lot.
We didn't
more
actually complete the journey. What happened? Sorry, should we see what happens when we give them our email address, which I might change in this particular case because I don't really want to give them my email address at this moment.
Well, I mean, we are kind of in the we are in the market. Like maybe do, and we'll just see.
No. Like before, it's just too high commitment. That's the problem. You don't want to be doing this.
See, look at this. This is in real time. We've got a friction point. In real time friction.
Don't phone me. Okay, contact thingy. Right. So I would prefer a multi-step form. That would be objectively better here. And also, I don't know. I assume they've captured that email address and they're going to remarket me now. I assume.
I would imagine so. They have to.
If they haven't, if I don't get emails from them, I will mention it on the next podcast because I absolutely should get a thing from them. And then this, like, I
suppose, like, to be fair, like, it's probably quite effective to really just have that one step. They've got your email now, and now they can do lead nurturing, which, I mean,
which is probably a big important thing for them.
Yeah,
and they've got I think that they've done this page quite well. I don't.
I mean,
like this
if it was a multi-step form, it'd be better. But and
for what it partner with, it's not loading. So just FYI, whoever runs this page, and the trusted by though, like clearly, this is the important stuff. So maybe you just have that tiny bit higher up. And I really would have a multi-step form here, folks.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like just having a little bit of like, okay, how big, like what kind of startup are we talking? Maybe what industry are you in?
They've got like, have you raised funding?
Yeah.
Yes, no,
these things.
Are you currently trading? Like, do you have, or I mean, are you an SME, or how many employees do you have? Or you can. There's loads of questions you could ask. It'd be nice and easy to get people into the flow rather than start. But again, I hope. But anyway, I think this is cool. And to continue to booking, I do also wonder whether it goes all the way through to an appointment booking, which I do think nowadays really should just be offered on most thank you pages.
I think it will.
Should we find out?
Let's do it. Just book with them and have a chat, and then let me know how it goes.
God, no, we're not. I don't think we should be doing real business on these calls. We're not completing this. We're not completing this.
We're not doing it. Yeah. No, that was fun though. That's such a really good example of keeping it simple and just being able to do and on that page, on that Novabook page, the tests that you could do are just small and impactful, and we're looking just at little bits and pieces, and that's what you want to be doing, and that's how you want to get started, and then just go from there, and it will grow and it will do things. And if you are an SME right now that is kind of like not really understanding how to start with CRO or wants to really understand that, reach out. We're more than happy to have a chat. We don't charge for chats. It's absolutely fine. We can audit, we can look, and we can discuss.
Yeah. There may be a
100%.
super easy way for you just to start doing it and pick up the easy value. And also comment the void.
Yeah, comment the void.
No one's give you a free ever commenting the void.
No one has
unless
ever
they have, and we're just not watching the comments. But I'm pretty sure we get an alert.
I mean, I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know.
If they have, reach out to us on LinkedIn too, because we will.
Yeah,
obviously,
please do. We're available. Yeah. We're more than happy to chat.
So available. Well, actually, no, we're not. But
we are.
We in fact do
as
have
available.
Jobs.
We
will be available for you.
Yeah.
Someone comments the void. We will make ourselves available.
Exactly. Okay. Perfect. Well, it's been a pleasure as always. See everyone next week. And it's wonderful.
See you, folks.
Bye.